Have you ever witnessed a moment where words become completely, utterly useless? A toy flies through the air, followed by the dry thud of impact on the floor, and then a heavy, tense silence. In that split second, our instinct is to label it destruction. We worry about the child's character, the formation of aggression, or a lack of respect for property. We feel an urgent need to correct this behavior with rigid rules. But if we take a step back and look at the trajectory of that object, what do we actually see? It isn't just a physical object, it is a message. It is the way an overloaded nervous system attempts to release an intensity of energy that language is not yet strong enough to contain. Welcome back. Today we are dissecting the act of throwing, not through the lens of punishment, but from the perspective of a system trying to save itself. Why throwing? Why not words or a silent tear? The answer lies in the concept of impulse discharge. Imagine a child's emotions as a high-voltage current running through wires that are still far too thin. When frustration or resentment hits, the current overloads the system. As adults, we have a transformer, language, and experience to step down that voltage. But in children, this transformer is still under construction. When emotion exceeds the capacity to regulate, the body reacts faster than the brain can think. Throwing an object is a way for a child to transform an unnameable internal pressure into a tangible physical action. It is an effort to push the pain out of the body, to empty a mind besieged by powerlessness. In clinical psychology, this is a form of behavioral communication. The child is telling you, the world is too big for me right now, and I need an immediate exit. To truly empathize, we must look at the command center driving this behavior. The heart of the story is the developmental mismatch between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala, the center for survival and emotional processing, is like a gas pedal ready to hit the floor at the first sign of stress. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for inhibitory control, acts as the rational brake that helps us stop before we act. The problem is, in young children, this brake is not yet fully functional. It is fragile and easily overridden by the sheer power of the amygdala. When a child throws something, it is a moment where the amygdala has seized total control, and the rational brake has completely failed. The child isn't choosing to throw things logically. They are caught in an impulsive reaction that their brain isn't yet capable of delaying. Expecting them to be reasonable in this moment is like asking a car speeding downhill without brakes to stop instantly, just because you told it to. There is a deeper layer beneath the act of throwing, the need to reclaim a sense of control. For a child, the world is often a place where they have very little power. They are told what to eat, what to wear, where to go, and when to stop. When a request is denied, a sense of helplessness overwhelms them. Helplessness is one of the most agonizing emotional states for the human nervous system. Throwing an object, seeing it move and strike, provides a child with a temporary sense of power. I made something change. I have an impact on this reality. It is a primitive attempt to compensate for the collapse of a wounded ego. The sound of that object hitting the floor is the echo of a nervous system trying to reestablish its boundaries in a space where it feels it is drowning. Understanding this, we see that an adult's composure is the most vital container. If we react with anger, we unintentionally confirm to the child that the world truly is a place of chaos and loss of control. The journey of growth is a migration from the actions of the body to the language of the soul. A child throwing something today is not a sign of a dark future. It is a starting point. Our task is not to extinguish the emotion behind the act, but to help the child build strong myelin sheaths for their rational brakes. We do this not by fighting for dominance, but by setting boundaries with empathy. In clinical psychology, when an adult responds with calm instead of anger, it facilitates co-regulation. Naming the child's frustration in that moment isn't just a comfort, it is helping the child's brain perform affect labeling. When an emotion is named, the intensity of the amygdala's stimulation decreases, allowing the prefrontal cortex to come back online. Simultaneously, maintaining a firm boundary regarding the throwing behavior provides a safe structure for a chaotic nervous system. You aren't just teaching the child to obey, you are providing an external regulatory framework so they can learn to manage their own internal impulses, Over time, as the nervous system is soothed by your stability, new neural connections will form. The child will learn that powerful emotions can be contained by words and breath, rather than by risky trajectories. Your consistency is the foundation upon which they build their future self-mastery. Ultimately, objects can be replaced, but a child's soul must remain whole. Don't view a thrown object as an insult. View it as a cry for help from a nervous system that is learning how to grow. The child doesn't need a judge for their behavior. They need a guide for their emotions. When you understand that throwing is an attempt to regain balance, you will no longer see yourself as a victim of stubbornness. You will see yourself as the lighthouse in the middle of their storm. In our next video, we will decode the psychological reasons behind why children cry more when they are comforted. I'll see you in the next video.